Hello, guys. You are watching the August 4, 2022 Small Account Challenge. This is for US market updates. We are looking to trade the US markets, cryptocurrency, indices most of the time, and basically teaching people who want to know how to trade and how to make a couple of dollars, hundreds of dollars in a single month with a very small account as well. So let's take a look at the portfolio here, and we are sharing a real life portfolio. So this is real money. So let's show to you how we properly do it. No, small capital and how do we make $100 with it. So you can see that I deposited here around $800 actually. So what I did here, if you take a look in my history, so my trading account here is so we can see na for this year, January 1 till August 4, so I had started the value of $3,000. I put more money in, and then I also withdrew more money out. So that means that I have profits, no? But what I did is I withdrew a lot more profits, and I'm sticking to trading a small account first for the next few days, next few weeks, because my forecast as well, upon looking in the market, is that it is gonna be choppy. So until I know that there is a significant reason for the markets to go higher or go lower, when I have more conviction, that's when I will add more money. So in the short term, I'm still trading around mga 800, $1,000 with goals to add maybe as much as $5,000 total capital. So given that the most of the capital is still in the bank so far, the reason why I did this is so that we will trade small, and the goal naman is to have small exposure, risk exposure is small, and when we can see that there's a reason to press into the market or be more aggressive, that's when we'll add and deposit funds. So also when I do a deposit funds, I do it gradually. So hindi yan buhos kagad na, okay, deposit $5,000, deposit a lot. So my goal here is to deposit maybe $1,000, $2,000, and then if really really strong, that's when I'll deposit more, no? Either strong trend on the upside or strong trend on the downside. So you can see in my trade history since last week na yes, there were losses. So particularly ano yung mga losses that I've incurred just recently, no, for last week. Recently, I was wrong in trying to sell Amazon and Apple. So you can see that I shorted Apple and Amazon, resulting to losses. No, last Thursday, yan, there was our earnings report after hours. So malakas yung Amazon and Apple numbers that the market squeezed higher, such that most of my stop losses got hit. So for Apple, na hit yung stop loss ko dyan. For Amazon, na hit lalo yung stop loss ko because it was up 10% within after hours. And may 5x leverage yan. So if you are down 10%, times mo ng 5x or more, edi aabot ka ng 50 to 90% losses. I think this was even a 10x leverage short on Amazon, which is possible in eToro. So okay lang yun kasi if I risk $135, the most I would lose is of course $100. So marami akong nalugi dyan, no? $100 here on Amazon, $100 here. So $200 in just one trade there na nalugi on Amazon. As for Apple, I also lost some money here, about $100. For Meta, what I did here was I bought, pero nahilo ako sa market, very choppy, so in-exit ko na lang yan and took a $20 loss. I did make money initially for shorting some crypto names. So like you can see na initial shorts ko for Amazon, I was still able to make a few money. My initial shorts on MicroStrategy at 285, I was able to cover it 250. Silvergate, I was able to cover a little. But you can see that most of my shorting initially made money, but overall, maraming difficulty shorting this market, which kept on going up. So buti na lang, I covered most of my shorts because if I didn't cover my short, I would have lost more. So there are times when you're wrong, you have to close it ASAP. So as this week has progressed, we can see that companies are still in the corporate earnings mode. And what we did was go long on companies that we believe has upside. So one of those companies that I believe has upside is Square, which is reporting numbers tonight. Same as for FUBO TV, which is a streaming device, and streaming giant, but only for sports. Expedia, obviously, for those who are traveling, you probably know about Expedia. Expedia, Booking, Airbnb, those are the three giant kahunas in the US market. And I figured that buying a bit on them prior to the earnings is going to result to a likelihood for me to exit it before either before, after hours. Pwede ko rin yan ma-take profit before the numbers gets released. That's been the typical move right now of the market. People are buying the rumor and selling the good news. So even if, example, AMD has been reporting good numbers because AMD was rallying 40% prior to the earnings, we noticed that the market has sold off after the fact. So right now, what I'm sharing in the small account challenge is obviously how when you are, well, two things for you to learn. Number one, if you're wrong, you have to obviously cut, and if you're not, and the beautiful thing is that with eToro, which I use here, I'm not affiliate of eToro, not yet. However, if you want to use it, then go ahead. I've been using it to trade some parang di siya options, but it moves almost like an option when you do it with leverage. So parang contract for derivatives, CFDs. So that's what I've been doing now. So for $160, if I'm wrong, then I'll lose $160. Or I can just stop it out at 50% loss. So for instance here, 78, I put here actually a 5x leverage yan. You can see 5x lever yan, wherein a 10% drop is gonna result to an $80 loss, no? And of course, if I'm correct na more than 10% up, which is really what happened, Square was 11% up last night. So naging 11 times 5, 55% up. Or 12% up yan. So naging 60% up even if just a few days ago. I bought this just August 2 actually. So August 2, I was looking at companies that are going to report numbers in US that has upside. And I saw na this week is coupled with a lot of earnings. So this week continues to be an earnings season. Let's take a look at the earnings whispers. No, let me show to you how you can utilize free tools in the market for you to check upon if you are on the charts. If you're looking to trade, this is really for short-term trading. But it's also useful for people who are doing investing mode. But obviously here in this example, we're doing it for a short-term trading aspect. So this has been the week that has a lot of releases. You'd see that people, ito yung mga natapos na, no? So the ones that were finished, very good moves on Pinterest, 20% up after hours. Diamondback and Devon did well, although very good numbers. They raised their dividends, but the market actually sold them off, giving us actually an opportunity to buy them maybe at a lower level. And if you ask me why did it fall down, it was mostly because the market saw that the oil prices are going down $90. So they're looking forward that if you have lower oil prices, then maybe these items, these profits would have been lower next quarter. So I disagree. That's why I will wait out for the proper entry to get more shares of Devon and Diamond back. Now, so eto, Mosaic, CF Industries, yung Transocean rig, Monday after hours, a lot of these companies actually moved on the upside. Same as for this week, Uber, BP, good numbers yan. Marriott, good numbers. So first part of the week was already riddled with a lot of good numbers. SoFi managed to beat 20% up after hours. PayPal, 12% up after hours. Starbucks also up mga 2% after hours. Airbnb was was an anomaly. Good numbers, but the market sold it off about 2% after hours. 9% una, but it also fell 2% after hours. So that's a few things to take a look at. Wait lang ah. Let's take a look at charts here. Okay, why am I bullish on Square? Number one, for the numbers, but I'm betting upon the following things. The few things that you have to take a look at is Square has already been rising prior to the numbers, and what has happened is that usually when the market is bullish, inuunahan na nila yung numbers. You have to take a look that Square has resistance here at $90, 91, 92. So kailangan trail stop for all the longs on Square here at about 73. So you have that ledge, tinulak na siya early part of the week, 73 to 90. So careful lang. People who are chasing might actually get a sell-off even if Square gets a good number. This is what's been happening, like AMD. Take note, AMD has risen more than 40% since July. So these times, you gotta also be very critical on the charts kasi no matter how good the numbers are, if it was running up prior to the numbers, no matter how good the numbers will be released upon, it will just get sold on good news. How do we know this? This is what happened with Marriott, diba? Good numbers, it has been rallying prior to the earnings. After the earnings was submitted and very good number, it was just unchanged. So possible na maging unchanged yung mga Square, even after good numbers, simply because it has rallied already. So ganun yun, no? But the beautiful thing though is that even if good numbers and it doesn't go on after hours move, they still stay strong though. Look at what happened with Hilton. After good numbers, 110 to 130, it still remained above 130s, no? So it still remains naman. So higher lows pa rin siya no matter if. So that's what we expect most of these companies to do. So Airbnb, no matter if good numbers, it didn't make an after hours blockbuster move, still stayed above 100. That means that Expedia, same then, still stayed above 100. So slowly, maybe it will go up to 110, but slowly lang, no? Slow up. Overall sentiment has been bullish. So take a look lang that the earnings can continue to go to report well. But if it's near resistance, careful then. What I'm looking at in the market is mostly the NASDAQ. So your NASDAQ right now is now traded at 13,200. Two factors to watch out for is also these levels, 13.4 to 13.6 prior highs, which prompted a huge sell-off during May. Now, if we break above 13.4, that would be a great thing, but the extension is still too much to the point that you have to be just careful about resistance. Mostly, we saw how great numbers are also stalling. After great numbers of CMG, it is 14, diba? Look at this, 1300 towards nearing 1600. That's around 30% move, no, 25% move in just a couple of days. So what I'm seeing here is that potentially you might get some profit taking within the next few days. So ingat lang din. I'm actually looking to watch out despite the general strength of the market. I'm looking at many issues here. PayPal, of course, made a good beat last night. People had been profit taking after that beat. And take note that last month, around May, dito siya, March, April areas, meron siyang resistance at 120. So around 10 to 20% further for the market to go higher for individual stocks might actually mean a potential resistance. So even if I'm still on the long side here, I'm also thinking that anytime the markets can sell off, so we might actually have to switch from being a long to a short. But what would I short? In case you're wondering, what would I short? What you want to short is, generally speaking, index levels topping out. So I've been looking at index levels recently. Your Apple has, of course, rallied after earnings. It's now being traded at 166. I'm just taking a look at whether these areas of 172, i-reset ko yan for a reshort, but higher levels. So I covered my shorts here, diba, to at 160. So wrong area yung shorting here. Let me try to reshort somewhere here about 170 areas. So I need to wait. Everything is a waiting game. And this week is still also an earnings week. What companies would probably be on the upside? Market has been pushing up DraftKings. And what would happen on Friday is if DraftKings fails, then you've got maybe a setup for Monday for some sell-offs after that huge rally. So careful lang because there are companies already breaking down. Like we said, after hours, bad numbers, so it broke down. You've got companies like this firm broke down recently. Um Sedge right now. So Solar Edge kahapon, massive breakdown from about 376 to 295. So we are seeing already some companies didn't react positively. So you're gonna see a lot of chop areas. Kaya careful even if good numbers. If you're gonna be long, you have to be able to handle any drops. Like example for Square, if you're gonna be long here, if you cannot handle this 73 drop, make sure that you have a tight stop before the numbers tonight comes out. Marami nang nasa near resistance, so that if it's near resistance, no matter how good the numbers will be, it might be harder to rally further on. Kasi that's what we've seen with AMD. No matter how good the numbers are, naging unchanged. Marriott, no matter how good the numbers are, unchanged. Booking, no matter how good the numbers are, unchanged. unchanged or sometimes even selling off about 2%. Interestingly, kagabi, a lot of your energy stocks have fallen down despite good numbers because of oil. So I'm looking at these names, titingnan ko kung magkakaroon ng support dito sa Devon at 54 areas or 52 areas. I'm looking at some energy names on whether there will be a retest like uranium. I'm looking at it, saan yung mag-retest dito? Sa $20 or less, no? Looking at how these companies are shaping up for the next few days. A lot of things to digest. I'm looking as well really on the numbers. I want to see if booking.com deserves to merit higher towards 2,200, for instance. So booking results have shown generally positive, no? 90% growth. Saan ko ba yun binabasa? I was looking at it. So sige, let's read to you the companies that have already reported numbers that might be interesting as a trade for next week. So Booking Holdings tonight has revealed that second quarter gross travel bookings, inclusive of taxes and fees, were $35 billion. This is an increase of 57%. Room nights booked increased 56%. This tells you all the things about the travel related stocks being really positive in those booking numbers. Total revenues 4.3 billion. This is an increase of 100% last quarter. Net income is 857 million compared to a loss last year. You've got net income per share is $21 compared with a net loss per diluted common share of $4 in the prior year quarter. So very good trends. 776 million non-GAAP net loss of 105. What else should we know about them? We reach another milestone in our recovery from the pandemic. Room nights surpassing 2019 levels for the first time. Very strong accommodation ADR growth, helping them increase bookings, drive an increase in bookings. All right, busy summer travel season. Generally positive. What can you say about booking? So booking has already been rallying from about 1700 to 1900. All we can say here is that the downside will be very limited. Should it go down, say 1800 or 1900, there definitely is a buyer. So what I want to do here with booking is no matter how expensive other people might think the market is, which is likely true naman, the market is really expensive, but I want to still participate on the long side through companies that are doing good. I mean, doing well rather than the rest. A 100% increase in your net income is really substantial. That shows you recovery. So here you can see that booking is trading similar to the 2017-2018 levels. So it's back towards their prior pandemic levels, diba? As they said, they're back towards 2019 levels. So all of these pandemic drops was already negated. At least you know that if it drops, hindi na siya babalik dito sa 1.2 to 1.7. That's all that I could say for booking. I'm looking to be a buyer if it drops, say, 5% in the next few days, or even if it doesn't drop that huge, no, at least here you've got a lot of support. So 15-minute chart tayo sa booking. Let's take a look on an entry point. From an entry standpoint, there's several entries here. You've got an entry here at 1840s, and you've got an entry here at about 1880s. Got an entry here at 1900. So generally speaking, higher lows for booking. So you have a lot of areas to buy booking.com. I think what you generally will glean from my strategy is buy companies that have a good number or released a good number, and hopefully if hindi naman siya na break out, let's say two things can happen: break out after hours or break down because some people have already bought before the good news happened. Pwede yun, buy the rumor, sell the news. But even if they bought somewhere here at about 1700 or 1900, my guess is that they wouldn't also sell it down to their break-even price. So that means that there will be limited downside, limited sellers. Now, where will the selling fronts be? Probably here at 21 to 22. So I'm still waiting for the market to give an entry for another setup going higher. Did that happen already for some companies that reported well? The answer is yes. So here, look at Spotify. After good numbers, it made a gap up, made an entry point here at 110, from 120 to 110. It never reached 104, gave an entry here at 110, and then proceeded higher. So my goal here is, example, let's say you don't have PayPal, it already made a gap up. What you could do here is wait here at $90. If ever you get an entry point near 90, then it is still most likely on the way up. What you want to do is wait near a better entry point lang. That's what you're trying to do. So that's what I'm also focused upon. Either get companies after earnings that have already proven themselves, proven well. Example, Airbnb, Expedia, Booking, they've all proven good numbers. Spotify did well, PayPal did well, Pinterest did well. Or either the ones that already finished their industry or those that will soon report their numbers. Sample the ones that are gonna report their numbers soon. Next week, you've got Palantir. You've got companies like Disney reporting numbers next week. So possible rin yun. The key question though is that Palantir and Disney has been rallying even before the numbers. So you're noticing na 1 week prior, umakyat na rin. So for instance, Disney has already rallied somewhere from 90 towards 110. So that's already a 20% rally with the market even before the numbers come out this week, no, on August next week, August 11. Same for Palantir. It's been rallying from $10 here, 9 areas here. So somewhere here, when July nag-rally yung market, it was already rallying 9 to 11. So how much more upside can there remain to be? So with the market quite extended, I'd say that for any account, but in my case, no, the small account challenge, you want to be very nimble. The answer is just really nimble. Be nimble because the corporate earnings could be priced in once Palantir hits 12 already. Unless super ganda talaga ng numbers that would prompt people to reevaluate their bearish case. But if like the numbers are so and it's priced in, people would also be just taking profit on the good news. So it's a matter of I would say there's a bias. There's a lot of bias, but stick to the ones that you believe upon. So I am biased in the sense that I think the travel names can continue higher. So dips would be a buy. I'm also biased in the sense that Devon and Fang had good numbers and was sold down because last night oil fell. So I'm looking to be an entry buyer on some of these oil names if I see an entry again that will bounce from. Yun, take a look at a lot of luxury. So I've been buying some Farfetch recently at about 780s here. Rally straight towards 9. And that's because I've been seeing a lot of luxury retail doing well. No? So we've seen actually some areas of support. Yan, ang daming support ni Farfetch. So that might be a buy low, sell high type of thing. Yeah, so that's it. See you again and hope to see you for our small account challenge. That's a weekly vlog. So it's a weekly vlog every Thursday. I'll see you next week on August 11. Hopefully that $600 that you see today hits $700-800 next week. Okay, bye-bye.